So when it comes to radio station, you do need the ISRC code. They have to have that code, and you get it from RISA. Now, I know over the last however many years, there's been a lot of bad talk about SAMRO, SAMPRA, RISA, CAPASO. It's getting better. They are making it way easier for you to register with them. So register with RISA, get your code, right? Because radio stations will not playlist your music without the code. Okay, so that's really, really important. Then register with SAMRO, register with SAMPRA, register with CAPASO. Okay? It's really important to have all of your details there so that you can get royalties. I don't know how many bands that I've spoken to and artists that are established that have lost out on royalties because they were just like, oh, it's fine. I don't need to register. I know it's like a pain to go and sit on a website, fill in a form, etc. And you're not sure if you're going to get royalties. But what if you do? What if your song does get playlisted? Another important thing is that if you are writing music with someone else, so there's two of you, right? Make sure that you have your publishing details sorted in terms of percentages. There's a very famous story, and I honestly cannot remember the name of the band, but it was a famous South African band that wrote a whole album, and the one song they were like, should we put it on? No, I don't know. And the one guy was like, please, let's put it on. And they were like, okay, cool, you can just say that you wrote it. So he was like, okay, cool. It was the biggest song on their entire album. So he got all the royalties. He's still getting the royalties, and the rest of the band. You can't change it after the fact. Who here is a singer? Right? So you sing on other people's tracks. I have a very good friend of mine. She's amazing. She's been singing, she goes all around the world. She's made the fatal mistake of being friends with producers. And they're like, pull into the studio, let's like quickly write a track. Cool. So she gets to the studio, sings on the track, it's her words, her voice. Thanks, babe. Oh, awesome. And now, the song's blowing up, no contract. No publishing rights. Right? Honestly, even if it is your best friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mom, brother, whatever, make sure that you do a contract with them stating that you will have rights. Make sure that when they are filling in the forms for the publishing, that you are involved. Be involved. Do not trust people. Because I can promise you now that when it comes to money, everybody wants it all. I don't want to share it with you. So make sure that you have completely sorted your contracts. And on contracting, there's an amazing website called Legalese, Legalese, legalese.co.za, and then you can /music-agreements. They have 3 free contracts on there. One is a royalty split agreement. So if you're a singer and you've got someone producing and you wrote the lyrics and you sang on the song and they wrote the music, 50-50, right? Make sure that you sign those contracts. Another one is a booking agreement. Okay, so how many of you are DJs? Okay, a lot of you obviously perform. Okay, sign a booking agreement where it states that if they cancel the gig, you're going to get a cancellation fee. Don't forget those things. Make sure that you don't leave it up to the organizer of the event. Don't wait there for an agreement from them. You have to take hold of your career. You have to be responsible for yourself. And I've learned the hard way. I was DJing for years. Trust. Oh. Then the gig gets cancelled and I could have had another gig. Now I'm no money because I didn't get them to sign a contract. Okay, so make sure that. And then the last one is the licensing agreement. Okay, so make sure that if you are in the music industry, that you have these agreements, that you can send it out and make sure that they sign it. The Capasso, Samro, Sampra, right? Read up on what you can get. Do you know that if you play at a music festival, the music festival should have forms for you to fill in for each song that you played so you can get royalties? If you get to go overseas, you do the same thing. Because there is a Samro overseas, right? It's not our Samro, but it's an international, whichever country you're in. They then have the form with all the tracks you've played. They send it to Samro. You can get royalties. I know that there's been a lot of stuff around about the SABC, about royalties. So I've been saying it for years, because I mean we've known for years that they haven't paid Samro. So the chances are of you getting any royalties from the SABC is 0. Be aware of these things. We have to, as artists, as musicians, what are we doing about it? We just want our track playlisted, right? We just want it to be on Metro, on 5FM. But the bottom line is that they're actually not respecting musicians. I truly believe that. Because if they did respect the musicians, they would be paying those Samro fees. So that whole 90% thing, everyone was like, woo, this is amazing. My song's going to get played. There's no royalties. Maybe you got a gig. The bottom line is that they actually aren't respecting us as artists and musicians. And I think it's a really important thing to remember that we need to start standing up for ourselves. We need to start questioning these things. In terms of radio, if you are doing podcasts, let's say for instance, and you play songs on your podcast, please remember that you cannot make it a downloadable link. Okay? So that music doesn't belong to you. Even if you bought it. I bought it on iTunes. Okay, cool. It's not yours. You cannot allow other people to download it. So please remember that don't make it downloadable. People can then listen to it because you will get into trouble. And also make sure that if you decide you're going to get a group of friends together, you're all in radio and you're going to start a digital radio station. Because there's lots of free software out there to be able to start a radio station. It doesn't cost you very much to actually start a digital radio station. Make sure that if you are going to play music on that radio station, that you have a Capasso license. That you are filling in the forms and sending them through so that people can get their royalties. I find it so incredibly almost depressing that people that love music supposedly will download illegally They'll just play it on their station, etc. Right? We have to respect that we need to pay for stuff. I put in, if I was a musician and I put in hours on working on a track, I want to get some money back, right? Because what am I doing this for?